With the improvements made in the power sector since the advent of President Muhammadu Buhari administration, many Nigerians have commended the government, especially in continuing expansion of the transmission capacity through the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Power, Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, will lead the committee on an oversight visit to some of the installations of the company in Lagos, commended the federal government through the TCN for improvements made so far, especially in the expansion of the transmission capacity.
From a paltry 3,500 megawatts capacity in 2015, the transmission grid has expanded its capacity to over 7,000 megawatts, though distribution is still lagging behind. The Transmission Company of Nigeria has indeed been the beautiful bride in the sector, with massive investment by the federal government. To see things and confirm the work done so far by the company following investment by the federal government in expanding transmission capacity is the Senate Committee on Power led by Enyinnaya Abaribe. After seeing the equipment of the company around Lagos and the newly expanded and refurbished Ejigbo Power Transmitting Station, the committee chairman Enyinnaya Abaribe has this to say.
Well, what we can say from what we can see here is that TCN has capacity, that is obvious. The installed capacity here, it's close to 300 kV or MVA. And from our interaction with the TCN staff here, evacuation to the discos and their customers, it's about 30% of the installed capacity, which means that there are still a lot of investments that need to be done by the discos and other consumers to be able to evacuate all the capacity here. The fact that only 30% can be evacuated there shows that, of course, that there are embedded losses that you can see. We want to commend TCN for the improvement we have seen in this substation. The substation was maybe 60 MVA and now is up to 300.
He ordered that the Senate will continue to provide legislative support to the government and also ensure strict adherence to the terms of each contract. He commended the Transmission Company of Nigeria for its strides in the delivery of projects, especially through indigenous engineers employed by the company.
We are very impressed with the work of TCN that is going on here. By the time we look at the other projects in and around Lagos, we will also... Lagos is the commercial hub of Nigeria, and we expect that when Lagos works, Nigeria works too. And TCN shouldn't concentrate all its efforts on Lagos. You have to also know that other parts of the country need to have the same type of enhancement of facilities. So the committee is satisfied, and we'll still look forward to going around to the other sites in Lagos to look at what they have done.
The committee chair, who said the meeting is to see what can be done to bring all stakeholders in the power sector into the same loop, described the privatization program as an ongoing story that cannot be washed away.
Our mission today is oversight of government investment in the Ikeja Electricity PLC. Perhaps Nigerians don't know that 40% of all discos are owned by the federal government, and as custodians of the people's mandate, our responsibility is also to look at all that and find out how these agencies are doing in terms of provision of power, in terms of improvement of services, in terms of also cash flow that comes back to government for its investment, and also what has come out of the divestment as a public policy. And we know that there are growing pains in terms of this privatization, but our conviction is that we didn't make a mistake in privatizing these companies.